And if you can't do it today, you'll do it tomorrow. You are not a failure. Channel this phrase 10 times today. Today and every day, I am free from self sabotage. You show up, and every single time you choose to show up, uh, you're not going to self sabotage. You have to, every time you feel it coming on, every time you feel the emotions bubbling up, you feel that anxiety creeping in, start affirming that. Because when you can check yourself and stop yourself, you also empower yourself. You also create a space for yourself that allows you to do exactly what you need to do without fear or worry, definitely without self sabotage, because you're catching it, you're noticing it. And awareness beats out perfection every single time. Fall 7 times and get up 8, and that's what we all do. Literally, that's the persistence. It's just another word of persistence. Stay your path. Don't sabotage yourself. Show up. Uh, keep showing up. Keep doing the right thing. It's exactly what it is. Reflect on your ups and downs over time. It has been quite a journey. What can you offer to others today as they move through these same waters? Can you offer advice? Can you offer compassion? Can you cheerlead and say, hey, way to go? You showed up. You're doing good. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's offered with the greatest of intention from the heart and it's authentically from you. And if you can do it for others, guess what? You can also do it for yourself. And when you start doing it for yourself, you learn how you need to be supported, how you need to be loved. You teach yourself. And when you teach yourself, inherently you teach others. There's so many layers, like just the surface level on all these things seems so basic. But when you get curious and you actually ask the questions and see where it leads you, uh, you understand where the adjustments that are required. You see it, you pinpoint it. You don't get stuck in self sabotage. Because instead of self sabotaging, you're saying, okay, something has to give, something needs to change. I may not know exactly what it is, but I know there's some adjustments. Which, by the way, our whole life is adjusting, pivoting, and moving forward. And when we learn to manage that and manage our expectations to our best good, we really do create a space of um, moving forward with love and not fear or any of the other things that tend to follow us along the way. Empathic starseed. Yeah, you're learning how to separate your emotions from others too. Right. When you're empathic, one thing people forget, um, empathy was born from a trauma response. Okay, it was built out of trauma. Yes, it is a gift, especially when you learn how to use it, how to let things flow through. It's an extreme gift, but people need to understand it was born out of trauma. So learning sometimes how to separate yours from somebody else's is a lot of times what ends up being the self sabotage. You have to learn to understand what is yours and what is not yours to carry. So empathic starseeds are here to shift the world through their physical presence alone. They don't need to do anything beyond being here, thanks to the energetic change their physical presence causes. Due to their highly sensitive nature, empathic starseeds can struggle with being on Earth and in a physical body. Many are prone to addiction and depression or tend to mistake other people's feelings and moods for their own. Natural introverts, they tend to prefer spending time alone or in small groups. Crowds can be overwhelming for them. If this card appears, consider lightening the load energetically. Don't put yourself under such pressure to go out into the world. Be gentle with yourself. Allow extra time and care to recover energetically. If you're feeling pressured to keep up a certain pace, instead, put on the brakes and treat yourself like a precious baby. Do whatever you can to take the pressures of the world off your plate. Switch off to switch back on. In today's world, it's normal to feel that we should be doing more, but perhaps being present in our life is enough. This could be a phase you're going through or simply how you're being called to live your life. If your work involves giving to others, right now you're being called to keep something for yourself. You don't need to transmute it all. It's okay to look after your own growth and healing before feeling you should offer it to the world. Indeed, it's necessary if you want to continue to do so sustainably. One person, 11 likes, and 122 on the clock. 122.22. This is so, so, so important. How can you take better care of yourself energetically? And many, many, many times that self-sabotage, that fear, that anxiety, all those things that happen, you could have been feeling so good 2 minutes before, and then you step on a bus, and all of a sudden your anxiety's through the roof. You feel like you're not sure what to do. You don't know where this fear is coming from. And it's not even yours. You end up going to self-sabotage or freaking out, and it wasn't even yours. Why it's so important to get to know yourself, to understand yourself, what triggers you, how you're feeling that day, these check-ins, the adjustments, right? How am I feeling today? What is my capacity? How can I adjust for how I'm feeling? And if I'm feeling really good and all of a sudden something goes way out of whack quickly, it's almost always going to not be your energy. Like 99.9999% not going to be your energy. So learning how to let that flow through, allow it to let it breathe, right? Feel it, not mind, not carrying it. Let it flow through. Don't hold on to it. And a lot of times empaths tend to hold on to it. I can be talking about things sometimes, and it's really weird, and it sounds weird, but it's true. I could be talking about whatever, just telling some story, and I can feel really choked up out of nowhere. And it's like, but I've already processed it and I've healed from it, and it's not even, um, it's not something that would agitate or upset me. But what's happening is I forget that those things still would cause emotion in other people, right? Because people with kind hearts, things like that, they can bring up emotion, especially if it resonates really well. Um, and we forget that sometimes. And sometimes those conversations, I have to literally take a moment and go, that's not mine, right? And when we do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, thank you, Spirit. When we do that, we start to trust. We feel our own stuff. We understand our own experiences. We know that it's not ours, and we can breathe it and release it. And it takes practice. It takes constant check-ins. It takes constant adjustments because you have to process and understand what is mine, what is not. And Sagittarius, I think that's. I don't want to say you're getting stuck. I think you're starting to understand. And when you go back and you're reflecting on your ups and downs, yes, you've overcome them all and you need to celebrate them. But if you go back and you think about those ups and downs, those times where self sabotage felt like maybe it was beating you down and you couldn't figure out why you were doing it, many times the sad part is it wasn't even your energy. You were feeling somebody else's energy. And it is extremely sad and it sucks. And sometimes people project it onto you on purpose, but they're almost, let's say 90% of the time, they're not. They're unaware and they don't know. And getting upset or worried about that, it's just not something we have to deal with. It's not for us to understand why. What it is for us to understand is it's not ours and we have to let it go. And we can't force to help people either. If they want to know, learn, understand, and they reach out, by all means. But trying to force that information to people, especially sometimes you're feeling those feelings that maybe they don't even want to process or understand yet. So when you take that, you try to force them to feel that, you're going to really create a big collision and a lot of stress and anxiety that you don't want to do, which is only going to add more to the self sabotage. Um, and I think you're just understanding that you're starting to learn what that truly means, which is a really good thing. And if I can stress anything else on this, really, really get clear, learn how to do the body check-ins, learn how to check in every time when energy, these bursts of energy come through you, good, bad, or ugly. Check in. Is that mine? Was I feeling that before? Was there something that happened that triggered this? No, it's probably not mine. Right? And when you learn that, That can stick people for a long time because they don't understand. And if you don't know and nobody tells you, you kind of you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to understand it. And so imagine me going through almost 40 years like that, not understanding. And there's many people out there to this day that still don't have that understanding. So when we learn to give people grace, um, first we have to give it to ourselves. We have to understand that when we start checking in on ourselves, we create that space for ourselves. We know how to make those adjustments, and we never let it get to self-sabotage because we've learned to do that. And I just think that that's where this reflection is coming in. Like you're learning to do that. You've taken the time, and you know how to affirm. I will not self-sabotage today. I'm free from it, and it's not going to happen. I've learned how to figure out what the adjustments are and make steps to get there. It's not about perfection. It's not about this is the step and I have to do it 100% and that's it. It's about perfection. It's about, pardon me, showing up, and it's about taking that step and becoming aware of how that changes in you, how it changes your thoughts, how it changes how you breathe, how your body responds. Those are adjustments that absolutely stop you from self sabotaging. And I think you're starting to understand that. I'm going to do this one first because I feel like it came out right away. Home. Focus on your home and love. You're understanding that this is your home, right? This is your home. And when you understand what that is, and you're 100% clear in your good, your bad, and your ugly, you know how you feel. You know how to adjust. You know how to trust in yourself. You don't have to worry about self sabotage anymore because you're checking in more than enough times. And when you feel it coming on, you also know how to kick it out. I see you creeping in, and we're not having it today. I'm free from that, and you are not allowed here. And you affirm it, and your body obliges. That's what happens, right? And then don't dim to fit in. And I really like this one. Angel number 42, which also breaks down to 6, which is alignment, spirituality. What did I say? 42. All right. So, how are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Don't dim your light to accommodate someone else's smallness. We are all born to shine big and bright. The universe is expanding, and you are part of the universe. So, expanding is part of your nature. If someone makes you want to retract, notice and slowly back away. They are not for you, and you are not for them. Better yet, find it within yourself to expand and shine your light anyway. Flowers don't open and close according to who is walking by. They open and show their beauty regardless. If others don't want to be around you or you make them uncomfortable, it's because you are shining light on the fact that they are dimming to fit in. By choosing to shine bright, you may just inspire them to turn on their light too. Or not. Keep your light on anyway. All relationships are essentially an energetic agreement. The moment one person decides to start rising up and allowing their light to shine, it changes the energetic agreement and can create some waves. That's completely normal. The relationships that are meant to last will adapt to change in the energy. Others won't because they are likely born under the proviso of I love you as long as you don't shine brighter than me. Um, that's okay. Not all people are meant to be in your life forever, but the lessons they will teach us can still live on. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And I think exactly the opposite of that is what's happening. I think you're starting to understand. I've been dimming my light for so long. Um, I didn't understand. I've been going through these adjustments, and many of them, the ups and downs, were because I'm an empathic starseed. I'm empathic, which is a trauma response. And maybe I haven't even learned to adjust and learn what that is. And when you start to learn what that is, how those traumas affected you, and how they created this, which is actually a gift. It's something, the way I look at it is it's something that was given to you to use out of your trauma instead of having to live in fear your whole life. It's meant so you can, in the blink of an eye, see the change in energy, feel the change, so you know when you're safe, right? And the problem is when you live in survival mode for a long time, you miss that. You don't focus on that as much, and everything feels like survival. But when you start to notice it and you start to heal it and make those adjustments, and feel what energy is yours, you don't self sabotage. You don't go through those things anymore because you're actually starting to heal it and you're feeling safe inside your own body. So when that little thing, your spidey sense kicks in and you start to go, I don't feel real safe here, you're going to listen to it and you're going to trust it and you're going to follow it. Why? Because it's not coming from survival or from some filter of something else. It's coming to tell you, nope, this actually is not okay. It feels off. We're just not, we're going to trust our instincts and we're going to get out of here. Right. And that's the smartest thing you can do for yourself. And it took those ups and downs and all that self sabotage and all of that for you to understand. Because now you're starting to see, well, that's not mine. Why am I holding on to that? I don't want to deal with that anymore. And you're understanding that your home is not the four walls, okay? Your home is here. And when you settle this, your heart and your mind become aligned, you start connecting with source, that intuition, you trust it because it's not coming from the filter of fear or survival or any of those things. You know it's not somebody else's energy because you've learned to do the check-in, you do the body scan, you do the understanding. How do I know this is or isn't mine? And that's a really good place to be. Being an empathic starseed is beautiful. It is amazing. And you're put there, you'll notice when you go around people, um, there'll always be someone who has a story or who just needed you to listen for a couple of minutes. That gift was given so you see those people, so you don't miss those people because that one small thing that you did for someone that maybe just not even a big deal to you could have been the one thing that saved somebody's life. You may never know. Those weird situations that you go in, those things that happen when you learn to trust them and just give the guidance and the answers that they ask. It's not giving them the answer they want. It's they're coming to you and they needed you in that moment. You're being a divine messenger for God, and you're giving them exactly what they need. And any empath, I don't think I've ever met one that hasn't been in situations like that or just sat somewhere and children come sit beside you because they feel safe. Animals come up to you. There's a thing that comes with being an empath that is such a beautiful gift, and the way that we help others is amazing. But it can also be very detrimental when you don't know it or understand it, which is what I think you've learned to master, and you're learning to understand. Uh, and there's going to be trip ups and hiccups and all those things, but when you start to understand that and check in and figure out exactly where those adjustments are required, um, you make those adjustments, you trust those adjustments because they're coming from a different perspective. They're coming from a healed, happy, healthy perspective. And that's when things really change. And it's funny because 555 change, growth, resilience, transformation, purpose, renewal, breakthrough, and creative energy. You're about to level up. Good for you. Although it may not feel easy at first, this challenge is preparing you for greater things that align with your highest good. And this is the why you've been seeking. Keep pushing forward. There's a reward waiting for you at the end of this journey. You're already understanding that change. You're trusting it. And you're trusting that change because you're leading from the heart. You're not leading with fear. You're learning what's yours to carry, what's not. And anything that's not, you're learning to let it go. Man, it's a good space to be in, and I know it took a lot to get there. So before you do anything else, take a moment and celebrate yourself. Really celebrate yourself because that part of the progress, that understanding, that amount of reflection, not reflection, not a judgment. It's not a reflection to punish yourself. It's actually to celebrate. But you're taking those ups and downs and you're learning from them what it was and how all the many ways you self sabotage yourself. You're starting to understand that almost every single time it wasn't even you intentionally self-sabotaging. It was the feelings from other people being projected onto you because you're an empath. And when you start to trust that, then you can process it. You start to avert and avoid self-sabotage a lot easier. Sag, that's like, I'm really proud of you. That kind of work does not come easy. Did I do this one? I don't think I did. I almost missed this one for you. And if I did, I was called to do it again. Sorry, guys. It wasn't leaving me alone. So for my Sages to go with their change, and that's really internal explorer. Yeah, you're just learning about yourself. You're trusting, you're understanding. Look, and evolution and vulnerability, literally back to back to back. And surrender. So they're meant to tell a story. We're not reading it this time. They're meant to tell a story. You're learning to be vulnerable, to check in with yourself. That's your evolution. We're literally telling a story. You're surrendering to learning and understanding yourself, what's yours, what's not yours. That's the journey to wholeness. Your heart chakra has cracked open. I'm laughing because, and look, shine your light. It's literally telling a whole story. The way they flipped out, you're figuring out your alignment. You truly, truly are. And I don't need to read them because that would take forever. But it's just literally walking you back. You've understood how to process. You're learning how to surrender to checking in with yourself first. And that was a process that took a long time to get there. I know that very, very well. All right. Can I have an affirmation for my Sag? Fall 7 times, stand up 8. That's what we're queens of here. Queen and kings. Around here, anyway. If you align with me, I can almost bet we align on that. I am ready to go big, rise up, and step into my power. Yeah, you figured it out. You're done processing. You're done messing around. You're done being fearful. You're starting to trust. You're starting to trust. You've learned enough from the ups and downs. You understand that every time you have to pause, if there's an adjustment, you know how to do it. You know how to check in, and you're ready for that change. It's coming. You've been changing, but this exciting change is for the good. And you don't have to be fearful of it anymore. You don't have to be afraid to be seen. You don't have to be afraid of what's coming because you already know, you've already overcome. You've checked in enough that you're not going to have to worry about self-sabotage because you can see it when it's coming. You see the patterns. You trust it. You understand what makes you tick, what freaks you out, what worries you, what creates that pattern. And because you have that empath, you're learning how to understand what's yours, what's not yours. And because of that, you're not fearful anymore. You're going to go big. You're going to rise up and you're stepping into your power fearlessly. That's pretty damn exciting. Saggies, I think you're my most exciting group of the 3. And it's because you're ready to take that leap. You're ready to jump in and you're ready to say, I really want to do this and I'm going to show up and do it the right way. And that's pretty awesome. That's what I got for you guys. And I did this in under 2 hours, which is pretty exciting. So I want to keep it under that way because when they get over 2 hours, the volume gets all weird and things just don't work out very well. And I can keep it short and sweet. I will be on, what's today? Today's Wednesday. I'll be on maybe tomorrow around 11:30 for an hour or 2. And maybe I'm thinking, maybe I'll just come on and do some card pulls and stuff when people come on. I did a couple today for some people. Maybe I'll just come on and people can ask their questions, little pop-up check-ins. I think people like that, and I think it lets them feel a little safer, gives them a little confirmation, something to keep them going. And I really like to do that. So I love you guys. That's what I have for my fire signs. I'm really proud of you. Sag, you've been doing the work. Like, I mean, all of us have been doing the work, but Sag, you've been doing the work. Take that step. Be proud. Don't let fear stop you. Don't get scared. I don't think you are. I think you're ready to do it. Step out, be proud, and just be yourself. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up. Have a good day.